The NX-3000 from KENWOOD is a great little radio with lots and lots of features, and one of the features which is often overlooked is the ability to take a status message and turn it into a voice prompt. And this is a really useful thing. So when you're using a radio system and you're sending voice across it, it takes quite a little time, whereas if you send a status message, that goes really quickly and leaves the radio system available for other users. And what you can do with this radio is simply set up a call which sends a status, and when that status goes,
the status message can be translated into a voice message like this one.
So we had a tiny little bit of data which triggered a voice prompt in this radio, and what I'd like to run through with you is how simple it is to record those voice messages, and they can be used for status messaging, they can be used for channel change, or they can be used for other alert messages. And we'll just run through that on the PC with a standard microphone. Now you can use the PC inbuilt microphone, but you won't get as full a bodied audio as you will by using an external mic. And this is a relatively cheap one here, and we'll use it for the demonstration, but any microphone will do. The programming software is the normal KPG-D3, and it's very simple to operate, and we'll just run through that. I will assume you have installed it and have it working, but other than that, I will run through everything that's needed. The first thing you need to do is run KPG-D3, and once run, what we're going to do this time is a little different from normal. So we are going to go into product information and have a look and see what the radio is, and you can see this is not the radio we're working with, so we can read product information and OK to that message, and it will read it. And we can see we've got a radio here, which is a 3320E version, and everything is disabled. What's in red is what's available to us. So if we click DMR conventional and click OK, it will tell us that from the previous radio it's had to reset a lot of things. It switches into DMR mode, and we now have a clean new data file based on the radio that we're using. So the very first thing we need to do is actually put some config in it, and this will come up with an analog. And if we add a DMR conventional and just label that DMR, I usually remove the analog, so highlight it and click the delete button. Yes, we'd like that gone, please. That leaves us with just a digital configuration. If we then pop across to personalities, you can see it's put in the default, so I'm just going to choose 450. The configuration is slightly different if it's duplex or simplex, and that's to do with the DMR standard. If we pop back to DMR, we'll see here that the data communications on the right hand side here is going to a group ID, but there's nothing selected. So what we need to do is just type A in there, push return, and that means that all data communications will now go to the all call, so everyone will hear it. Obviously, in a deployed system, that may not be the case. You may wish that to go to a specific group, but for demonstrations, it works well. Right, as we're sending a status, we need to be able to do that. So what we need to do, first of all, is put a status in. So we go into ID status list and DMR status, and there's nothing here. So status 1, call it ONE, and we can see voice announcement is grayed, so that's not good for us. We won't worry about that at this stage. We will go straight into button assignments, and if we try and set up a button here, we see that nothing's available. However, if we go to button assignments and actually switch in call 1, and then go back to call 1 here, it's set for 5-tone, but we can drop down and go to DMR status. Number on the list is 1. So now we are going to send DMR status when we push side 2 button. What we need to do now is set that up for some voice. So if we go into voice announcements, and we will now see again, something is disabled here. We've only got standard and none. So what we need to do first is go to tools, voice announcement library, and we can now import a WAV file, take files from existing data files, FPU data files, or the simple one today is a new clip. So clip, new clip, and it comes up here. Record, radio engineers test 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we can then play that back. Radio engineers test 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Simple. Close that. If we now go back to our voice announcements page, we will see that magically user programmable is available. And maybe we'll have zone channel guides and function guides as well enabled. You can see the menu picks up here. If we now go back to our ID status list and go back to DMR status, we will see that voice announcement is available, and we can then click new clip 1. And now when we send a status 1 by pushing side 1, another radio configured the same as this one will see that status coming in, status 1, put 1 on the display, and then we'll play back our voice prompt directly. And that is all that you need to do. To confirm that we've actually done everything, we would need to write that. But there is one step that always gets forgotten, and that is, if we look at the channels, there is nothing set here. So we do need to go and allocate our DMR channel to the channel change knob, which we do here. And you can see that's our channel in there that we've set. Now, once that's done, we can write the configuration. This takes a little while to go through because it's a completely new configuration, but you can see it still jumps big chunks as it goes through because it only writes the data that's necessary, which speeds things up dramatically. Now that section's gone in, you can see voice data erasing taking place here, and it will then, once it's cleared the voice data in the radio, it will then pushing the small amount of data that is the voice prompt we've recorded, and then the radio will complete programming, which it's done there. Writing is complete. As we have just seen, this is really quick and easy to do, and the important thing to remember is that all of the voice prompts you record can be stored separately and can be used across multiple installations of radios. So if you have different channel numbers, different alerts, or whatever, and you wish to do that specifically for your own company or a particular end user, you can then use those, reuse them multiple times. If you would like further information or a copy of the config files we've used today, then please contact KENWOOD.